Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got it. We got
New 52 book.
it. Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. We are discussing Sonic the Hedgehog. I am here with Teladia Plays. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And so we're talking about arguably the movie that redeemed gaming movies, because previous to this, it was all like crap, honestly.
Yeah,
It's interesting when you think about it.
to be honest with you, I really enjoyed this film.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it again last night. Well, sorry, this morning. I was just like, I was just like, oh, dude, this film is really good for a video game adaptation, and and the there's so many cool moments about this film that we can get into.
Mm-hmm.
But shall we talk about the fact that the fact at the beginning of the film it's in a different universe, and that
Wait. First, we got to mention the elephant in the room. All right.
Yeah.
So when they first released the trailer for this movie, the internet exploded. Let me go. I'm gonna pull up the original design for the Sonic movie. So the idea of the movie studio was to make it more realistic. Then we got this.
Uh
I know. Isn't that kind of stupid? So then the fans threw an uproar, and I've heard that Sega themselves were not really satisfied with the character design, obviously. So they redesigned it and redid the entire animation, redid Sonic. And what's kind of interesting is that the redesign added approximately $5 million. It took around 5 months to do, and it was achieved without overtime. So they managed to get it done, and it looks great.
this is the one thing. At least they took feedback from the audience and changed it to correct it, right? And
oh boy, if only a certain brand, if only a certain movie studio that happens to own Superman would listen to the fans, huh?
yeah, what can we do? What can we do? But Jared, I gotta say, right, when it comes down to this film, right, I say the score is really well done.
It is. It definitely is. It's one of those things where when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, yeah. One of the times when the IP owners told the filmmakers not to make their IP look bad. Yeah, I know. Because watching Sonic, it feels. Here's the reason why gaming movies are so hard to make. Because when you're making a gaming movie, to a degree, you have to capture the essence of what it's like playing the game. And the problem with it is, with gaming, is that it's very hard to capture each person's individual experiences. But this movie, in a nutshell, actually nailed the character, nailed what it feels like to play a Sonic game. All the chaos, all the super speeds and stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So let's start with you. Give your general thoughts on the movie, what you liked, what you didn't like. Let's go.
Okay, so my general thoughts of the film is like what I really liked is the whole story of Sonic entering a new world, and he's basically the blur of this
Mhm.
universe, right?
Kind of. He's kind of like super. And it's kind of funny. He's reading a bunch of Flash comics, and
Yeah.
that meme was put out on Twitter that said like now the Flash has read more comics than comic book Twitter.
Yep.
Mhm.
And what I also liked about this film was the fact that this obviously the score. I I I also felt like this film had 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 like a family, you know,
Quality.
genre to it, like quality. Yeah, so it's all about family with this, right?
Hmm.
So it was like really cool to have that aesthetic to that. But while what I didn't like though, do you mind if I go over what
Yeah,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
like? Okay, Robotnik. No,
You don't like Robotnik? What's wrong with Robotnik in this movie?
he was thin.
Hasn't he been thin before?
No, the Robotnik I grew up with was chubby.
Hang on, hang on. Robotnik. I want to see it because I'm pretty sure he has been thin before. Yeah, he has. He's
No,
been
the robot. No,
before.
but the Robotnik I grew up with. So the Robotnik from the cartoons, and
Fair enough.
he wasn't thin. So I'm just like, no, like that. That's why I'm a
But you
bit
got to
nitpicky
build
there.
to it. You got to build to it.
Yeah, you might be right there. What I also got confused about was the fact that when he came to Earth, it was named Green Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wait a minute, wasn't that Sonic where Sonic lived? It was called Green Hill in his own universe.
I think that was the stage in Sonic. I believe so. I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, that I was a bit nitpicky on that. Um, the one thing I really did miss though was I th- I really thought they would have introduced um maybe a kid character into this film, but they never did.
They did kind of with the dude's like I think niece.
Yeah, they did with the dude's niece, yeah. But we got Cyclops in this film, which
Cyclops slash the guy that Superman stole his girlfriend from. You know, it's kind of funny. I like to think that at the end of that movie, it's like when the dude realizes that now that now Superman stole Lois Lane from him. He's probably like, "Oh, I dodged a bullet there."
Pika saying you think Sonic original world was from Planet Morbius from the Archer's
Are
Sonic
you telling
comic?
me it's Morbin time? I had to. I had to.
But what did you think of the film, Jared? Like, I haven't had your thoughts on it.
Uh, Personally, I think that okay, so the movie's great. I liked it. The visual effects were great. You can hardly tell that the redesign of Sonic is a new one. In other words, it holds up enough that it looks fine. In terms of what's the word? In terms of what I didn't like, there's not much I didn't like with the movie. I gotta be honest, because a lot of this is like it's a Sonic game. That's really what a Sonic game felt like. In fact, that's the thing I like the most. It perfectly encapsulated what it's like to play a Sonic game because, like, with all the super speed, the chaos of the moment, he even did his homing attack and everything like that. I felt it was pretty cool, and I liked how they kind of showed his speed, kind of like he's the Flash.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And at least they showed Flash comics. Suck it,
Yeah,
Marvel.
yeah. He ain't reading any Quicksilver comics.
Yep, he read Flash comics.
That would be hilarious if he was reading Quicksilver comics. But the thing is like, but it's like so they have a Quicksilver they want to give him Quicksilver comics, and it's like Sonic would have been like, Quicksilver was the original Flash. No, he
Nope.
wasn't. But the point is, it'd be kind of funny if like he was a hipster in that, and now he's like, nah, I like the other guy the most.
That would have been cool. Pika says that the design change cause the only plot hole for that is fortunate minimum to notice.
What plot hole? Actually, that's a good question. I'd love to know that.
Yeah, I would love to know that too.
Yeah, because I don't remember a plot that would necessarily apply to the character design, but that'd be interesting to check out. But so continuing on, so let's go over the plot. So basically, the plot is he gets Sonic's origin. He's hanging on this alternate world with an owl, and then they're attacked by echidnas. That's gonna be very important in movie 2.
Yes.
And so she tells him to flee and hide on Earth until he can go to the mushroom planet, essentially. And so he's hiding on Earth, and then we see Sonic. He's got a little room, a little like cave, if you will, that he hangs out in. He uses a washing machine as like a treadmill. It's in the sticky bomb that got stuck in Sonic's hand, which it didn't have the gloves of the first design, whereas the brand new designs had gloves that could have been taken off. But has he ever? I mean, has he ever taken off his gloves before? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. But anyway, so so we see Sonic hang out. He's kind of become like an urban legend, kind of like the Big Blue. He's kind of like Bigfoot.
I wouldn't say Bigfoot. I would say the Blur.
Well, in terms of like modern day like theories, it's Bigfoot. But yeah, the Blur.
Okay.
He's basically the Blur. Plus, he hasn't really saved anyone yet, so he's not really a superhero yet. So I'm saving the Blur for that. Yeah, the Echidna tribe was a great rewatch bonus after the second movie confirmed that they were Knuckles' people. Yeah, exactly. So then we meet Donut Lord, and he's basically a cop. He's the town cop. He's the town sheriff, and basically he wants to get out of there because he doesn't feel like he wants to actually matter and save people. It's the typical plot. And I like the scene where Sonic is playing an entire baseball game by himself, and he gets all lonely, and then he just super speeds around and causes a big electromagnetic pulse.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this kind of goes into the idea that like the visual effects of this movie are superb and really, really good.
Yeah, I think it was superbly well done. It was put together. Funnily enough, when they were making this film, Sonic was a doll-based character when making this film.
He was a what?
A doll-based character, so like a statue.
Oh, you mean the old design?
No. So in post-production, they use visual effects,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in the making of the film, it was like Sonic was like a statue standing there.
Oh, you know what I know what you're talking about. They do that sometimes so the actual live actors can have something to interact to, and that way it can make sure that like Marston is looking at Sonic when he's supposed to be talking to Sonic and not like a random spot in the ground, not like lining up.
Yeah, because I remember this and I was just like thinking, why is Sonic just standing there?
It's kind of funny. That'd be a pretty dope statue to have on a wall somewhere. I guarantee you someone has that statue on a wall.
I think probably in their mom's basement, but that's for a discussion for another day.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you said that, imagine if the future films incorporate Tails doll.
That'd be interesting.
Interesting.
So then the military detects the EMP blast and calls in Dr. Robotnik to like investigate it. And then say what you want about the way he looks, but Jim Carrey actually acts pretty well as Robotnik.
Uh-huh.
He's basically playing the mask all over again, and it's really, really funny to hear him dress down all the military people saying, "You all work for me."
Yeah, but you know what's also interesting about Jim Carrey's character in this? I would say Jim Carrey playing Robotnik is the fact that he has people working for him, or his minions, as I call them,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he's got like a dude that I forgot his name now. That's in the second and third film. Who's
Mhm.
his henchman or whatever? I forgot his name now, but I thought that was pretty cool that Robotnik had that. But in the cartoons and the games, he never had that.
Yeah, he just had robots from what I remember of the game of the at least the games because I never really
Yeah,
watched the cartoons.
yeah. In the games and the cartoons, he never had like a sidekick, that human sidekick. It was all robots.
And by the way, his human sidekick is named Agent Stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then Sonic gets his rings because he's been discovered, so he's gonna escape. So he flees to Donut Lord's house because he's being like surrounded, and he's about to leave, but then Marston shows up and shoots him in the leg with a tranquilizer dart, which leads to him getting knocked out.
Oh yeah.
And then I like how like he wakes up in the pet cage, and so he convinces Marston to take him to San Francisco so he could get the rings. And his name is Tom, so I'll start calling him Tom. So they're driving down the road, and then they get like the full story of who Sonic is. And I like how Sonic is basically a kid in this. Like he's like, oh my gosh, the world's largest rubber band ball. We have to go see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And
I think.
then yeah, go ahead.
I think what's also cool is the fact that their chemistry worked really well with,
Yeah,
you know, with Marsden and Ben Schwartz. I think
Schwartz.
I
Ben
think his name
Schwartz.
is Ben Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their chemistry worked really well on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I agree too. And then let's see what else. And then they stop by at a biker bar and they get into all sorts of shenanigans, including a bar fight there. And then they leave. And then essentially they show up at then we get the high speed chase from the trailer. As a matter of fact, where like they're attacked by basically this tank. And what's cool about the tank is that even when they destroy it, it like deploys a smaller drone that keeps up the pursuit. And then Sonic is injured, so they take him. So Tom takes him to his girlfriend, actually his wife, who basically cares for him. He wakes up, and this is how he gets his shoes.
The shoes which matters the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's one of his most like iconic features. So you kind of have to feature that in some way.
It's his trademark. So
Yeah, exactly. So they get him to San Francisco, and I love where he's in the bag, and Tom and the lady's like, "Do you have a child in your bag?" He goes, "No, it's not. Yes, it's a child, but it's not my child." And I'm like, dude, you're just digging that hole."
I think, yeah. When I saw that, I was just like thinking, this is looking bad for Tom. So
Yeah, I was wondering, is he going to get arrested for like kidnapping a child? But anyway, so they get the rings, but then Eggman attacks. And what's kind of cool about this is that they do basically a Quicksilver scene where like the Flash is moving at normal speed and everyone is frozen. So he takes out the drones. He saves Tom and his wife, and Tom's wife. He saves Tom and Maddie. And I like how he goes on like a global, basically a global high speed chase against Eggman, who his personal drone that he's flying is powered by one of Sonic's quills. Now, plot point: the quill was discovered at the baseball stadium at the beginning of the movie. It's just what happened was Eggman got it and used it to power his tech. And then there's this really funny scene where like he's dancing and he's upgrading his tech. So then they get back to the town, and so Sonic is like knocked out. And then it's just the typical, "Oh, you can't hurt him. He's my friend." And then he wakes up and fights Eggman and actually defeats him. Now, here's the thing. An early draft of the script had Sonic going Super Saiyan essentially in this movie. I'm glad they saved that to movie 2.
yeah, I'm glad they saved it for movie 2 because they made it more epic compared to movie.
Because
in movie,
here's the other thing. They didn't set up the Chaos Emeralds, and you kind of need those for that.
Chaos Emerald is important for the second movie. If they had that in the first movie, I think it wouldn't have looked great.
It would have been a little too much. That's what I think. I think they could have maybe made it work, but maybe it would have been a little too much. You would have been piling way too much in there.
Yeah, agreed.
But so and then essentially Tom and Maddie decide to stay in Green Hills, and they have Sonic move in with them. Basically turns into Planet of the Apes. Robotnik is stuck on the mushroom planet, and then the mid-credit scene, a two-tailed fox comes through a portal looking for Sonic, and he can fly. And his name is Miles.
And his name is Miles the Fox.
Yeah, so it's Tails. So that's what we got there. So that's the first Sonic movie. And again, I cannot stress this enough, is like this essentially proved that gaming movies can be good, because even after what we get after this, the Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers.
The good one, not the crappy one from the 90s.
Yeah, the one which just says peaches, 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 peaches.
Yeah. Miles Prowler. Yeah, exactly, Pika. And ultimately, I think that for all it is, this movie really like I said before, it captured what it's like playing a Sonic game, and honestly, it's pretty solid. So before we go to Q&A, Teladia, how would you rate this movie out of 10?
I would have to give this movie out of 10 a solid 8.5 out of 10.
That's not bad. I'll give it that too, because it's great. There's still more to explore, which I'm glad we got 2 more films for that, and a series on Paramount Plus. Maybe we'll cover those at a later date.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
for me, I give it an 8.5. So let's transition to Q&A. You guys can ask us anything about Sonic you want. Bear in mind, I don't know that much about the Sonic lore, but you can ask us about what our favorite Sonic game is, who our favorite Sonic character is, whatever you guys want to ask. Or you just ask us a general question about stuff, about any topic. And Teladia, you can ask me a question as well.
Okay. Why was Shadow your favorite character in Sonic Universe?
Well, it's very simple. He's black and red. I always liked the black and red character design. And plus, when I played that Shadow game, I played that game for hours, because it's like the idea of the Shadow character, the Shadow game, having like multiple endings depending on what you did. That was the first time I really delved into a game that gave the freedom of choice to the player.
Yeah.
But Teladia, who is your favorite Sonic character?
That's easy. Do you know the way?
Ugandan Knuckles is your favorite?
The Knuckles. Yeah, Knuckles is my favorite character.
All right. Yeah, he's cool. I liked him. I liked Idris Elba as Knuckles. I thought he was really cool.
And the reason why I like Knuckles is basically because he's red. Red is my favorite character.
Oh, there you go. You should also like Shadow then, because he's got plenty of red in there.
Shadow's an anti-hero. Knuckles isn't. So I like the hero.
Barry, can you imagine a Shadow the Hedgehog movie directed by Zack Snyder?
Please make that happen. Please,
yes.
Paramount.
Yes, please. So in terms of, let's continue on with this. So let me ask you this. What's your favorite Sonic game?
Oh, that's easy. For me, it's there's 2 games actually I really like. It's Sonic and Knuckles on the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, and I would have to say Sonic Heroes on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, Sonic Heroes is up there with mine. I enjoy parts of Sonic 06, parts. Mm-hmm. Shadow, obviously. Sonic Heroes, and screw it, Sonic Unleashed, where he turns into a werehog.
Have you tried Sonic Frontiers? I have.
No, I haven't. I think it's on Xbox, but it's when it goes on sale, I'll try it out.
Oh, that's a game that you should stream on YouTube.
It's good?
It's really good.
Oh, cool. I'll be sure to check that out. And now let me ask you this. Who's your least favorite Sonic character?
Amy.
Yeah, me too. Amy's really annoying. That's one of the characters that I hope they don't bring into the movie, so I can actually have time away from Amy, because she is very annoying.
Very annoying.
And I don't
And
care if she's supposed to be that way. She's still very annoying.
And Jared, just to let you know, Sonic Frontiers, by the way, it's an open world game.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really want to play it, because I really love open world games. They're some of my favorites.
And you know, you can go
for that. Yeah, go ahead.
And you know, here's the thing: you can go Super Saiyan in this game too.
You can?
Yes. In Sonic Frontiers, you can go Super Saiyan.
That's interesting. That is really cool. Is that like at will, or like essentially you have to charge it up and stuff, or it's like a one-time thing?
No, so it's that different bosses, big bosses. You collect the Chaos Emerald. You have to look for it, and then you'll be able to unleash the Super Saiyan power, and basically become supersonic and take out bosses easily.
That's cool. That's the other thing I really liked about Sonic is the boss battles, because they were always like the most titanic thing in the world. And I'm like, what the? First, Robotnik, when did you have the time to build that? It's like, even in movie 2, it's like a giant ass robot. And I'm like, what? Or it's like you're fighting a demon and JJheat is here. Hey, what's up, brother?
Flame on. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. So we're talking about our favorite Sonic game. So what is your favorite Sonic game?
Sonic Adventure 2. I got to go with the classic. Sonic Adventure 2.
It's also fun if you're watching someone who clearly can't play Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, come on, man.
Watching Nick. It got to the point where Nick's was starting to like go, oh, for F's sake. Now, JJheat, who's your least favorite Sonic character?
Ooh, it's a tie, and I'm probably not going to get any heat for this.
Please say Amy.
As much as I want to, she's more annoying than a nuisance, depending on the version.
All right.
But either Silver or Princess Elise from Sonic 06. I'm sorry. That was not a good introduction, in my opinion. I mean,
Silver's awesome. He can move stuff with his mind.
He's the slowest out of the 3 hedgehogs. His game mechanics are god awful.
No, see, here's what you got to do, JJheat, is that when you actually like face someone in a versus match, just use your psychic powers to hold them in place and just walk in front of them. That's what I did.
Exactly.
You got to game the system. By Pika Shade says Sally Acorn is the worst than Amy by the virtue of how much she was overused as Sonic's love interest in the Archie comics. She was the lowest lame of the Archie Sonic.
Okay, I see where you're coming from, Pika. I see where you're coming from. And I'm sure Jared appreciates it. But Amy, okay, you're comparing. First of all, Sally has not gotten a single adaptation in outside media other than the main comics, Archie or otherwise. But at least with Sally, she has some measure of restraint. She actually has a supporting role most of the time. Amy smothers Sonic every chance she gets. Like seriously, it is borderline. It's basically the Sonic equivalent of Catwoman being Batman's lovesick stalker.
Interesting. Now, okay, so JJheat, real quick. So summarize your thoughts on the Sonic movie.
A pretty good movie, but if you peel back the layers, it's basically a cash grab road trip movie. Granted, it's good for what it is, but I just feel like the video game trend and video game movie adaptations is a relatively recent trend. Excuse me.
But at least here's the good thing about this movie. It was good enough that it started to redeem the idea of adapting games into movies.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about it. But now, okay, I'm gonna ask you, all 3 of you guys, this, or 2 of you guys. What's your least favorite Sonic game?
Sonic 06.
I would have to say for me, it's Sonic. I would say Sonic a werewolf game.
Sonic Unleashed?
Unleashed was awesome. What are you talking about?
For me, it's hard. It's hard for me because my game used to break a lot.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Understood. But the reason why I think Sonic 06 is because when you play a Sonic, those super speed segments were broken as hell.
Yeah, that's why really I didn't like it, because it used to break my system. So that's what caused me to.
Understandable.
It was a rush. It was a rush job for the 15th anniversary of the franchise, and it clearly showed. Like I've even seen Sonic POC, the actual online modded web version going around. I think it's basically it's a fan recreation of Sonic 06, and that one's much better improved in quality than the official title. So if you want a relatively decent Sonic experience, but the lore and story of that game, just play Sonic PO6. You'll have a moment.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's just the problem with that. I mean, the shadow parts were very good. The other thing that I kind of didn't like, have you noticed that, as far as I know, in the times I've played a shadow, you can't ever teleport. Isn't that kind of odd? Because that's like one of the things he does in the cutscenes, but we never have the ability to do so. And Peak says Project 06. I've seen footage of that online, but I have no idea where to get it. Well, JJheat comes back. We'll ask him about that. IDW Comics and Frontiers did manage to tone Amy down somewhat and match her characterization from where it's been stuck at. Yeah, but I still find her very annoying. I gotta say that I'm not as hateful on Silver as the other guy is.
No. She's the lowest lane of this universe.
I really can't believe that we managed to bring Lois Lane hate into a Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. But you know what? God damn it, I love it.
Well, it's true.
It's very true. It's very true. You kidding me? It's I never expected to bring this in. I like how we can manage to bring Sonic the Hedgehog hate. Lois Lane hate into literally anything.
Yeah, anything.
It shows that we must really not like her. I like that.
So, any more questions, guys?
Yeah, just ask us any questions you guys want to know. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Sonic if you guys don't want. You can ask it about really anything.
Yeah, if you guys haven't got any questions, then
I got a cool item in the mail today.
Jared will show us stuff.
So I got this book called The World According to Wonder Woman. And here's the thing. I have like a Themyscira version of it, but yes, Teladia, I got this version because it's the new 52 Wonder Woman. But so JJheat, where can we find Sonic Project 06? Pika was wondering.
Okay, from what I found, I usually just found clips online, but I'm pretty sure if you go to like Steam or something along that, you might be able to find it somewhere. I just know that I saw clips of it online and even some YouTube shorts of people talking about it. But who knows? If I can actually find it, I might. If someone requests me to, I might do a fan review of Sonic PO6.
It's a great idea. By the way, it's fortuitous that we were talking about Sonic because here's the funny thing. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share my screen on this GIF that's playing on my Twitter right now. So to get a load of this, it says here, reminder that Sonic has read more comics than the majority of comic book Twitter. And it's the suck it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the fun part. Yeah, I found that and I was like, you know what? I'll take that. That's a good meme. That's a good meme. But so yeah, any questions that you guys have for us about Sonic, about like our favorite experiences with the franchise, it can be literally anything, or about how excited we are that Shadow the Hedgehog is finally getting into a movie. By the way, I guarantee you, if Sonic 3 is good, we will get a Shadow the Hedgehog thing. We'll get a project, maybe a movie. Please, a movie. I want a movie of
Black Doom could be a trilogy in of itself. So
yeah, but we got a Knuckles series. So that shows me right there that they are open to expanding if it's big. Plus, JJheat, you're telling me that if all three of these movies have done well, you're telling me the studio is going to want to just, we're good.
It depends. It depends on who's in charge. If something big happens behind the scenes, if something's successful, they're gonna keep doing it. Don't get me wrong. That's just basic business. But there is such thing as like, okay, this is the audience is too niche. We're not hitting Marvel numbers. You gotta balance business revenue with ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened with DC and Warner Brothers. They were trying to rush to catch up with Marvel, hit MCU numbers. They got close with Man of Steel. They were hitting Phase 1 numbers with Man of Steel and BBS, but they were just too impatient and pressed the panic button, and then a lot of people got screwed over. I know we've heard the story a million times, but that's just the reality. If you have no one you have to. I could probably teach a whole marketing class on the DCEU alone, but yeah, it's just business and ambition. You have to find that balance.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and Pika brings up an interesting point. Hopefully, Shadow won't get the Knuckles show treatment as a supporting character in his own show. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which was weird to me. I know Knuckles doesn't really have a lot of personality. Like, other than protecting the Master Emerald and occasionally getting tricked by Eggman, Knuckles doesn't have much of a personality is what I'm saying. Even if you debuted Rouge the Bat, at least you would have gave Knuckles something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, Pika says, my pitch for Sonic 4 would be to combine Sonic CD and Sonic Heroes to introduce remaining Sonic friends and have Metal Sonic as the final boss. That would be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, but that would probably work better as a limited series on Prime because you're introducing multiple characters and you already have an ensemble dynamic with the core team Sonic already. So that would probably work better in a series rather than a movie because not everyone's going to get an equal amount of screen time or attention.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because that way you don't have to rush anything. Because that's going to get really, 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 like, what's the word? It's going to get very complicated if you try and like cram all that stuff into one project.
I agree, but definitely Metal Sonic should be the next villain. Definitely.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that could work really, really well. But so any other questions that you guys would like to ask? Any other points you guys want to make, and then we'll start wrapping up. Can ask us anything about even DC, Marvel, whatever you guys want to talk about. Who would win a race between Flash and Sonic? The answer is Flash.
Yeah, it's not even a contest. I think Sonic versus Quicksilver would be a better matchup.
Yeah, because when you're dealing with the Flash, you're dealing with a character that can run so fast, he goes back in time. I'm sorry, I don't care how fast you are. You're not beating that unless you can do that.
Unless you have a solid counter or you can react fast. Okay, we could probably go into a whole monotony of power scaling, but if you can react as fast as you can run, you might have a chance. But Sonic's not reaching a time barrier or anything like that. He's not reaching time travel levels of speed.
Oh no,
Archie Sonic maybe, but even then it's close.
Now here's an idea. What if they did a Flashpoint style story, but it's Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, this would be that'd be a big middle finger to Warner Brothers.
It's like Amy is at war with Shadow, and Knuckles never came to like the real world. He's still guarding the Master Emerald until he was captured by Eggman and imprisoned in Russia, where Sonic and like maybe like Rouge and Omega have to go break him out or something like that. That would be really funny.
Well, Jared, the Sonic franchise already has that type of story. It's called Sonic 06.
Oh, technically, that is Flashpoint. That's true. Wait a second. I just realized that literally is Flashpoint.
But not in live action, though. We haven't done that in live action.
But not in live action, right? Or like a series or anything like that. Didn't Netflix do an animation for Sonic?
Yeah,
they did.
Sonic Prime.
Was that any good?
No.
It was decent, but I wouldn't call it good by any stretch of the imagination. More aggressively mid.
Mid at best.
By the way, JJheat, Teladia and I had an interesting idea. What if Zack Snyder did a Shadow the Hedgehog movie?
Too easy. Too
Mhm.
easy. That wouldn't even be a challenge for him.
Yep, there you go. Because that way, I can imagine Zach going, "Oh wait, this character uses guns. Yes, I can definitely do this,
So
and no
is
one
there
will
any-
yell at me if I make this character edgy."
Yeah, so if you guys any more questions you want to put in the chat, feel free to put them in the chat, guys.
Yep, any ones you guys want me to answer, anything whatsoever.
Anything.
Any question you guys want about the meaning of life, about
You mean, or the
why
circle of
Lois
life,
Lane is the worst character in all of DC,
or the circle of life.
or the circle of life. We can even do a power scaling discussion, whatever you guys would like for me to do. Sonic Prime pretty much came and went. They went back. They came back and went away again, and then came back so it could wrap up. I see. That makes sense.
Okay.
But besides that, okay, if you guys don't have anything, I guess we could go ahead and wrap up. I know this is a shorter one. Wait, I was just gonna ask how come Jared dislikes Lois. All right. So
Here we go.
yes, thank you.
A massive
So-
rant.
Thank you. Here comes my.
It's a
I
popcorn
was gonna
talk.
say how much Jared dislikes Lois. Okay, there isn't a number quantifiable to properly measure how much I loathe Lois Lane. Like that's how much is that when you plug it into a calculator, it comes up error. Two cannot compute. And the reason why is because she is the character that DC keeps trying to force on people, and it doesn't work. Like where now in Absolute Power, she has Iron Man armor. Now they're going to give her Superman's powers instead of actually making the character look good. They also gave her like Perry's job, but turned into a female Perry White. And then she basically fired Clark because she didn't want him being close to a story. But I'm like, wait a second, you covered Superman as you were dating him. So what are you doing? Plus, it's the other person that has to Wonder Woman's face said, I don't like you. So the point I'm trying to make is that the reason why I don't like Lois is because she is way too abrasive. Plus, when you go back to the Golden Age, she freaking hated Clark. She very hated Clark and only wanted to date Superman. So as far as I'm concerned, she's shallow, she's abrasive, and she's mean. So at this point, DC would be better off doing a divorce. She is not too... Thank you! Or ignoring Sally Girl, ignore the glasses. How about the fact that Clark always conveniently disappears, and then when Superman shows up, and then when Superman leaves, he reappears. Clark reappears. Isn't that interesting? You would think the greatest journalist at the Daily Planet would be able to figure that out.
A lot of that is just the writing tropes in general for the time period. But even in the modern concept, Lois and Clark is a slow burn. But from the Secret Identity to them being rival reporters, it really is their dichotomy and dynamic is more of a rivals to lovers story. The old Superman and Lois, I'd want to say Superman and Lois show from the 90s is a perfect example of that. Now, will I admit them actually getting together and getting married was going a bush too far? Yes, even that show derailed after they officially got married in that show.
It's kind of funny. It's almost like being married to Lois is bad luck for Superman because didn't he die immediately afterwards?
As I was saying, you can keep Lois and Clark. That can work because it's established all these other factors. But I feel like them actually being married and then going on to have and sacrilege. I know going on to have a kid. It can work in certain circumstances. But John is. I'm not gonna. Okay, John Kent is fan service. All right, it's fan service for anyone who like Jurgens, Death and Reign of Superman, and that era of Superman's characterization. He is a literal callback. Not only the concept of super sons and giving Damian Wayne someone to hang out and play with.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just saying, like it doesn't work as a concept.
no, they get married after he goes. Okay, my mistake, Pika. They do get married afterwards. The point is, being involved with Lois in any way is bad luck to Superman. There you go. I corrected myself.
But long tangent aside, all I'm gonna say is that the pairing. I'm not the biggest fan of shipping, so please give me more
Here we
content.
go.
I'm just It works to a degree, but I definitely see them actually once they got married. That's where they started to derail. That's where it started going down for a lot of fans.
Well, sales went dramatically down for that after they got married, and that's why DC editorial, not necessarily the writers themselves, but editorial strongly like getting them together because they recognize, okay, and when Benny came on my show, RIP, he brought up a very interesting thing. Here's the problem with a superhero pairing up with a non-superhero, with like a civilian. That's very limiting in what stories you can do. Very, very limiting. Whereas suppose if you have them with another superhero, Superman with Wonder Woman, there's any number of stories you could do. You could do Superman versus the gods, Wonder Woman versus Kryptonians. We did that, and it was awesome. Or you could do Superman versus Peter J. Tomasi. We did that. Not as awesome.
Wait, what?
I had to. But ultimately, there's any number of stories that you could do where if you played it right, you could do that. Excuse me. In Kingdom Come, Lois supposedly died before they got married. Oh, interesting.
Sorry, my hand slipped. But
okay. But wait. Yeah, so that's really the point there. Well, JJheat.
Sorry, I was reading Silly Girl 99's comment for a second.
Yeah.
But, in Kingdom Come, Lois died before they got married. Case in point. That's all I was trying to say. Pika proved my point.
Yeah, because they're like, no, we're not good. We know this is going to limit the story. Let's not do that. And the more you try and force Lois into Superman's world, because here's the thing also with her not having powers, you're going to have to try and make up stuff for her to do because ultimately she doesn't do anything. All she does is just sit there, sometimes work for the Daily Planet, but oftentimes just pretend to be Perry White by yelling at people. And then then it was like, yell at people and then like be a damsel for Superman to save. That's the problem with her. It's the idea is that she will always be ultimately when you boil down Lois Lane to the overall story, it's just she's someone for Superman to save. She's always been that and she always will be that.
Lois Lane, and she belongs to General Zod.
Yeah. Whereas suppose when you pair him with an actual superhero, like Diana does not need saving from anyone. If anything, he might need saving from someone he might need saving via her. Where in a way, that's way better for gender equality because she doesn't need him to help her. He doesn't need her to help him. They just do it because they love each other and they're equals. There you go. But anyway, I love how we managed to get Lois Lane hating and Super Wonder into a Sonic the Hedgehog stream. Wow. That is how stream. You know. Yeah, she can handle the load as well, being super fast. Okay, you know what? Before we log off, because you mentioned that, there's one more thing I want to bring up for that silly girl. I'm very glad you brought that up. So, Justice League 12. Teladia knows what I'm gonna show because
here we go.
Because he and I covered this on his show. But I do check out Snyder Fans Read Comics. We do a lot of fun stuff on there.
Yes, we do.
So this was the issue that like started the relationship with. And don't be sorry, silly girl. It's all the fun stuff. I'm the Super Wonder guy of my friends, so we kind of have to do this. So let me share screen, and then we can get to this. So here we have Wonder Woman. But it's drawn by Jim Lee. There you go. Good stuff. And this is when they're talking about the fact that they can't be close to anyone else because of their status as like superheroes and having secret identities. And this goes back to Silly Girl's comment. She can handle the load as well, being a superhero. And then they decide, and then it's like they decide that they both really felt alone. and then they decide to be alone together. And there you go. And yes, this will be homage to my comic. But yeah, so that's essentially what it boils down to. And if you ever want a in like 2 or 3 pages or less summation of why this pairing works, just read Justice League 12. That's all you need. But anyway, so now we're gonna wrap up. So Teladia, where can we find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
Okay, so you guys can check me out on Twitter at Teladia Plays _ and on YouTube at Teladia Plays. What I've got coming up on my channel is that I will be doing a live reaction to Batman Cape Crusader episode 5 tomorrow. Me and Jared are going to be reacting to that, and then next week is Snyder Fans Read Comics. As Jared has said, we do cover New 52 content, and we're going to be doing Justice League Forever Evil Part 2. Now it'll just be me and Jared this week. Unfortunately, Bianca has messaged me and told me she can't make it, so it'll be me and Jared to do that just for this week. So it'll be interesting to have that conversation there, and also we'll be doing some, gaming like discussion throughout, and some movie discussion as well. We'll be talking about stuff that happened in the week on that stream.
Hell yeah.
So
JJheat, how about you?
As for me, you can find me at JJheat75 on Twitter or X, or JJheat Plays on YouTube. Also, JJheat751 on Twitch. I recently started a Twitch channel, so be sure to check that out as well. But stay tuned for the camera retrospective. I had to make a last-minute rewrite of the script, but that is coming out. Also, New Direction vs. Batman, which is, I'm going to start out with a second playthrough of Batman the Telltale series. Part 1 is already out, as well as Mass Effect 3 playthrough number 5. So those are already out on the channel. Feel free to check those out, and stay tuned for more content on the channel. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So in terms of Comics League, at 9 p.m., Britt and I will be going live to lambast my adventures with Superman. And we're also going to propose what our ideal Superman animated show would be. Yes, we are doing that so we can actually completely, because Teladia, I've held a lot of stuff back regarding that crappy show. So I'm going to unleash holy hell on that show. And in terms of gaming, you guys can look forward to, I picked my game. I am going to be alternating between obviously Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Lego Batman 3. I picked that one because that's the new 52 one, and it involves a lot of Green Lantern lore. So I'm gonna I'm really excited for that. So again, so this Thursday is going to be Lego Batman 3. As for Under Two Capes, Teladia and I and JJheat, if you want to join us, we'll be discussing Absolute Batman, all the stuff that's been like revealed about him, if it can be successful, basically the way we did with Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman. And in terms of movie night next week, we'll be covering Aliens, and in other words, the one by Ridley Scott did Aliens, right? Or was that James Cameron did Aliens? So the one by James Cameron, with essentially all the Space Marines. And in terms of CLD, we'll see what topics pop up then. All right, so stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs with General Zod. Zois and Max about for life. We will see you later. Bye-bye.
Excelsior!